majesties, my kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Thank you so much for your show of love, for always giving our videos thumbs up, for sharing our videos. That's something that I think I'm not even really emphasizing on it. Do well by sharing these videos to your loved ones and those who you feel our videos, not just this one. There are lots of videos that you can share. Thank you so much for your support, that this family is gradually growing into something substantial. I really appreciate you for that. All right, now let's just dive right into it. Hope you're well in all that you do, and you're loving yourself and others like always, and you're living your life in your own way, and you are being fulfilled in all that you do, because it is important as we struggle towards our creator. Okay, now you remember when this whole Netflix and Egypt thing was happening, where they were suing Netflix for having a Cleopatra that is black, and a lot of debate started at the process where all these things was going on. A lot of things were going on underneath as well. Things were being discovered. I think this most of these things was even coming from their own end, and that is why it's a bit controversial. Like, you say it is not true, but there are evidences emanating from your own people, from your own land, and these things, you know, gives a lot of room to ask questions. Like, then why are you so bent on saying that you're white and you're trying to sue people? While all these things was happening, we got someone who was a direct descendant of the Pharaoh Ramses the Third, an African American who is a direct descendant to Pharaoh Ramses the Third, which I'm going to bring up here too. Were black. I think I've said it here. I even brought evidences that the reason why we now have white Egyptians because of the invasion. All these people that invaded, and at the process of invasion, there is what we call mixture of genes. People get married, take as wives, give birth to children. That is why the color started changing in some parts. And even some Egyptians explained that this is the reason why there are two colors in Egypt, because of invasion, right?
Please explain what made you do a DNA test, and then what happened when you found out all of a sudden that you're related to Ramses III?
That's a great question, Emily. Well, about a year and a half ago, I traveled to places like Israel, France, and different places like that. So what happened was people would always ask a normal question, where are you from? And I would say the States, United States. And the people that I saw in France would say, no, where are you really from? And I said, the States. That's all I know. And so that question stuck with me for a long time. And I just said, where am I actually from? I mean, I know I'm American, but where my DNA is from? And so I said, well, let me take my DNA test. It was a 23andMe DNA test. And I took the test, and I was shocked when I saw the results. It came back, and it showed that I was actually a direct descendant of the Pharaoh Ramses III. And I knew nothing of the pharaohs. Didn't know much about Egypt, but everything you hear about, Bible stories and things like that. So for me, it was a huge shock, and that's how I found out about it.
Wow. So obviously you took it deeper and deeper. You saw all of these synchronicities in looking at images of the Pharaoh, how much you and even your brother look like them. And your own company has like an eye logo that looks like the Eye of Horus, unconnected to any of this. So what did this open up for you in terms of your own knowledge and learning about this?
I remember I was actually laying in my bed on Christmas Day, 2021, and I was going through my 23andMe DNA test, and that's when I saw that I was connected to the Pharaoh Ramses III. And again, I knew nothing of this situation. And so I looked up a sculpture of the Pharaoh Ramses III, and when I saw the sculpture, I literally screamed. And my wife said, Dexter, what's wrong? I said, this guy from 4,000 years ago, we look just alike. And she said, Dexter, wait a minute. There were no pictures from 4,000 years ago. I said, no, his sculpture was the Pharaoh Ramses III. His sculpture, we look like identical twins. And she said, let me see it. She saw it. She said, oh, my goodness. And then I continued to go over different sculptures, looking online. And I saw the sculpture that looked just like my brother. If you could show that on the screen, it'd be absolutely amazing. But it was, and I looked at the sculpture and I said, this looks just like my brother Joe. And I called my brother Joe and said, I'm going to send you something. And he said, where'd you get that from? It looks just like me. I said, that's a sculpture of the Pharaoh Ramses III. And he said, oh my God. I said, that's over 4,000 years old and looks identical, just like you. So we were blown away, completely blown away.
Uh-oh. This is not going to go with the narrative the European archaeologists want us to believe. So I'm not sure what they're going to say, but I can see it coming. I can see them sitting down and coming up with an explanation as to how this Black American is a direct descendant of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. Explain that to us kindly, because you seem to think that the Egyptian, the pharaohs, the ancient time leaders were not black, or they're not descendants of Africans, and they're actually Europeans or they're Arabs. So let's just wait for their explanation. Anyways, fam, what are your thoughts about this man from Atlanta that just discovered that he is royalty?
You know, most of times, when you see things being debated like this, being, politicized like this, you know that there is something behind it. Yeah, I use those words because you can't be something and you're happy being some other thing. I don't know if we get where I'm going to, right? What is so hard? What is so wrong? Like, the desire to just divert or to just change the color, the whole color of North Africa is something that I think the Europeans are so much bent on it. They've whitewashed it. And they are gradually coming to whitewash the other parts, the remaining parts. So when they are done with that part, what would they do? They will come to another side to start whitewashing. And this is how gradually our histories will be disappearing. Because we ourselves do not want to keep the histories that we have. We don't want to say anything. We're just living. There are some of us that are just there. We're just there, Whatever happens, however they do it, and then they'll let you feel that the world will soon come to an end, so you will not be bothered about anything. This is what they've been doing to us. No, the world is coming to an end soon. Don't worry about all these things. But they are worried about it. They are living their best life. They are diverting everything, and they tell you not to worry because the world is soon coming to an end. This whole process of using us, the melanated, is just, these people, they are so smart to some point. The reason why is because we gave them the power to be smart over us. And we decided to tie those wires that our creator gave to us. We decided to tie it down so we don't even reason sometimes when things like this happens. So there are lots more evidences that are coming up, and that proves that the ancient Egyptians were black. I don't really understand why they have to be sued for a movie. That is to say, the other ones are all the movies that they do act. That means it's a message then, because they tell you that it's just movies. It's not real. There are things that show you in plain sight. They tell you it's just movies, it's not real, and you believe it. Now it's the whole energy that these people are forcing on Netflix. It now shows that everything they act has a meaning. Everything they act has a truth in it, because already I believed this for a very long time, that they don't just sit and act something. It's something that has happened or is going to happen that they act, like hiding it in plain sight and making you feel that it's not true, it's just fiction. So for the fact that they are so hot on Netflix now for using a black Cleopatra, that shows that whatever they show you on fiction is true. And that is what they are trying so hard to pull this out. And again, that also shows that they really want to clean these melanated Egyptians. They want to pull out the fact that ancient Egyptians were melanated. They don't want people to go discover more, to excavate more, to discover more that ancient Egyptians were melanated. Because I remember Egypt and Ethiopia were going side by side. Those early days before now, when you study their histories, you see that Egyptians and Ethiopians were almost, they trade together. They do relations together. And who are the Ethiopians? Ethiopians are black. And we all already know that Egyptians were black. But they just deliberately decided to white Egypt because of the whole treasure. Because, I don't know how to put this. Almost everything we are developing on today started in Egypt. Egypt is more of the core of the continent. That is why it was, whenever you say it's black, they're just so angry. They whitewash it, and that is why they implanted even people like them. They are type there that will stand up and claim that they want to sue people for using a black face, a black Cleopatra. I don't know if you get just where I'm coming from, if you understand my, my frustration. I don't know if you understand me. Anyway, leave your comment and thought there at the section, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others. Stay safe, stay positive. Bye for now.